wonder why some women blossom after 50 while others shrink? After helping hundreds reclaim their identity and their wealth, I've uncovered 7 traits that change everything. In this video, you'll get real keys for confidence, purpose, prosperity, and joy, no matter what your past looked like. Now, it's your time to rise. Let's go. If you want to truly thrive after 50, start here with a wealthy self-concept, because money always mirrors identity, not effort. But how do you do that? Well, begin by seeing yourself as a woman who is worthy of the next level of abundance and prosperity that you desire, as well as worthy of time, attention, and opportunity. And see yourself as that woman now, not I'll be worthy when I fix such and such or hit X goal. Feel worthy now. Feel what it would feel like to be living the experience as her today. Imagine it. Get clear and deliberately create the emotional state inside of yourself, and do it consistently. Make a point of it daily. When you put in the effort to upgrade your identity from the inside out, not only do your numbers rise, but your entire life experience gets an upgrade. It has to by universal law. One of my clients recently raised her worth floor by increasing her rates after years of feeling undervalued and underpaid. And within a week, she landed a new, perfectly aligned dream client who saw her worth and was happy to pay her new rates. Why? Well, because her energy finally matched her value, her true worth. That's a wealthy self-concept at work. And why this matters is you can't attract what your nervous system won't hold. So this shift isn't just about money. It's about finally feeling safe to receive the life you deserve. If for any reason receiving doesn't feel safe, you'll overgive, overwork, and under-receive every time. Today, we change that. Here's a simple, repeatable way to upgrade your language to match your new wealthy self-concept. Stop saying, I can't afford it. Instead, simply ask yourself, is this aligned with my priorities right now? Yes or no? Same reality, radically different story you're telling yourself. And therefore, it's a radically different signal you're giving to your identity, your subconscious mind. In addition, try repeating this mantra. I am an excellent steward of money. I am a money magnet. Money comes to me always, in all ways. Put it on your mirror, your phone, in your wallet, and repeat it multiple times per day. Another favorite of mine is this. I am so happy and grateful that money now comes to me in large quantities through multiple sources on a regular basis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And feel into it. The trick is to feel grateful in advance and to stick with it long enough, consistently enough, that you begin to shift your subconscious beliefs about how it now gets to be for you. Here's a challenge for this week. Choose one internal shift with regard to your wealthy self-concept, one boundary, or one decision you've been avoiding. Set your new intention. Speak it, own it, and hold it. Hold on to the feeling of it already being a done deal. Then, as you hold this new reality within yourself consistently, watch as the world begins to recalibrate to you and your new frequency. Again, it has to by universal law. Easier said than done, for sure. This is a deep mindset shift that takes concerted effort and practice over time. Inside the Ascension class, we dissolve subconscious scarcity patterns, set clean financial standards, and normalize abundance, so your self-image and your bank account finally agree. All right, once your wealthy self-concept is online, generosity gets easier because you're giving from overflow, not depletion, which brings us to trait number 2, boundaried compassion. If you grew up overgiving, trying to earn love, I want you to lean in. Boundary generosity lets you love big, but never to your detriment. Because love without limits leads to resentment and depletion. And that's not compassion or generosity. That's self-abandonment. Yes, give, be, and do all that you desire for others, but again, never to your own detriment, and never from a place of seeking love, validation, safety, security, or approval from outside of yourself. And certainly not from people who do not have any of those things to give. When we practice boundary generosity and boundaried compassion, we don't leave ourselves out of the equation. As a result, we live with far less resentment and much more peace, while our heart stays open and our standards stay firm. This fortifies our self-esteem and sets the stage for you to begin thriving at the highest level possible. One client stopped the mind-bending, energy-depleting 10-text ping pong with one single line, "I'm available Tuesday between 2 and 4, and said nothing more after that. The entitled person in her life got the message, while my client's anxiety dropped, her energy and focus doubled, and her relationships actually improved. Why? Because clarity is kindness and respect-worthy. You can be boundaried, kind, and respected all at once. Moreover, this enhances your self-respect, which is vital if your goal is to thrive. Here's the thing. When you have a big heart with smart limits, meaning you care deeply and you refuse to carry what isn't yours, you don't explain, defend, or apologize. You're loving and sovereign. You become a bright, shining light, an example of what it means to thrive in wisdom, grace, self-worth, and self-respect. And goodness knows, we need more examples of that on this planet. And a word for my recovering people pleasers. Boundaries protect your peace, and your peace protects your progress. Without them, you trade self-respect for approval and stay stuck in the validation loop, while your vital life force energy and other resources are drained and depleted. With boundaries, you train your nervous system to know that safety comes from honoring yourself and your own needs, not from keeping everyone else happy. Here are some simple scripts you can use to begin to set healthy limits and boundaries, even with the most difficult people in your life. For example, that doesn't work for me. Here's what does. And fill in the blank. Full stop. No explaining, defending, or justifying. Or, I'm available Monday at 11 a.m. Or, I return messages within 24 hours. And don't be shy to repeat yourself even if you feel like a broken record. I assure you, repetition works, and consistency will beat people-pleasing every time. Here's a rule I live by. I never say yes under pressure. Instead, I give myself permission to say, let me think about it. I'll get back to you tomorrow. This is how you stop auto-agreeing from fear, guilt, or shame, and instead start living in alignment. When you feel pulled to rescue, fix, or save someone, simply take a deep breath. Exhale, drop your shoulders, and calmly say, I trust you to be able to figure this out. And nothing more. When you stop rescuing, you give them permission to rise. And if they choose not to, that is not your responsibility. Let others take responsibility for themselves and their life experience. When we get out of the way, it's amazing how capable others become. All right, once love has healthy limits and boundaries, your clarity skyrockets, which brings us to trait number 3, resilient self-trust. This is where you stop second-guessing yourself and start moving with calm, decisive confidence. If you've spent years outsourcing your decisions to keep the peace, this is your turning point. Resilient self-trust puts an end to second-guessing, eliminates confusion, and reclaims your power, putting it back inside of yourself where it belongs. How this works is you decide once, and then you back yourself. Although it's certainly okay to change your mind, and sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to do just that, generally speaking, if you have a habit of doubting and second-guessing yourself, you want to decide one time and stop reopening the file or the conversation. In addition to this, one client of mine installed a simple rule, a 24-hour decision window. Within 2 weeks, her anxiety was gone, her productivity skyrocketed, and her what ifs stopped keeping her awake at night. She told me she finally slept through the night, no more tossing and turning, replaying conversations in her head. What this means for you is calm, embodied certainty in your own good judgment. You honor your inner yes and no without over-explaining, crowdsourcing, or apologizing. You trust your inner guidance system without the never-ending ruminating and negotiating. Resilient self-trust isn't just about decisions. It's about finally feeling safe in your own skin, no matter what anyone else thinks. And why this matters, especially for recovering people pleasers, is this. When your feeling safe has depended on keeping others happy, your nervous system equates approval with survival. Developing absolute self-trust rewires that pattern. Safety now equals honoring yourself. Without it, you'll overwork your strategy muscle and underuse your God-given intuition and internal knowing, and keep stalling on the new life that's calling you forward. Here's a simple decision rule I live by. When in doubt, don't. If it's not a clear yes, it's a no for now. This protects your energy from obligation yeses, resentment, and depletion. So when you know it's not a clear yes, practice saying, that won't work for me. Or, I've decided to pass, thank you. Or, I'm choosing X instead. These are short, clean, unapologetic, and very clear. Nothing more to say. Now, will everyone be okay with these responses? Probably not. Some people will always benefit from your lack of boundaries and self-trust. They won't like the new empowered you, but that's okay. Having the right support system in place can make all the difference as you learn to navigate these changes. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you're finding value in this video. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And this leads us into trait number 4. If your strategy hasn't been working as well as you'd like, it's not your plan. It's your internal power source. Magnetic energetics is where your inner state starts doing the heavy lifting for you. Meaning, learn to embody the frequency that is a match to your desires. One client added a 3-minute state reset before she did any outreach. Same script, new energy. Her response rate jumped from 8 to 42% inside of 2 weeks. Aligning your thoughts, language, body, and breath with the reality you're calling in, so you stop broadcasting need and instead start radiating sufficiency and certainty. You can't fake energy. People, opportunities, and abundance always match what you're broadcasting. When your nervous system says, I'm solid, life starts to say yes. Why this matters, especially after years of people-pleasing, is this. A dysregulated nervous system calibrates at desperation, frantic, while a regulated nervous system calibrates at calm, peace, love, joy, and deep, deep gratitude. If your body whispers danger for any reason, you'll over-explain, overwork, and overgive. When you're coherent in your mind, heart, and nervous system regulation, your words land, your boundaries hold, and doors open without you needing to push. Inside the Ascension class, we practice state on command, so your frequency and your follow-through finally match. When your energy is clean, clear, and steady, it becomes effortless to say the thing confidently and conclusively, which is exactly where we're headed next. Trait number 5, courageous communication. If your voice shakes or you over-explain until you're exhausted, this is your upgrade. Courageous communication is how you say the thing confidently and conclusively. Always aim to speak with compassion, clarity, and courage. Practice saying what you mean and meaning what you say. No drama, no essays, no regrets. A client of mine used one 3-line script I gave her with a difficult sibling. Drama ended, and the relationship didn't. She told me she felt a wave of peace the moment she stopped defending and just stated her new standard. No more endless arguments. It comes down to using clear, kind, direct language that names reality, states your standard, and closes the loop without justifying, arguing, defending, or explaining. And why it matters is this: your clarity communicates that this is not a negotiation. Also, your nervous system stabilizes when your words match your truth and you back yourself by standing your ground. Courageous communication isn't just about being heard. It's about honoring yourself, protecting your peace, and teaching others how to treat you. Boundaries are felt before they're heard. Concise language carries authority. So try this simple, repeatable 3-line script. I hear you. I see this matters to you. Here's what I need. Or here's what works for me. And fill in the blank. Then close with, that's how I'll proceed. And then stop talking. Again, this is not a negotiation. For example, with family, simply say, I love you. I'm not open to discussing this with you. If the topic returns, I'll head out early. Then, if the topic returns, head out early. Remember, confusion invites negotiation. Clarity ends negotiation. Over-explaining signals doubt. Simple sentences signal self-trust. When your words and energy match, people recalibrate to you. Here's another 3-line script you can use anywhere. Here's what I'm seeing or hearing, and fill in the blank. Here's what I need, or here's what works for me, and fill in the blank. Here's what happens next, and fill in the blank. For example, if someone is criticizing you on repeat, simply say, I'm hearing you criticize my choices. That doesn't work for me. If it continues, I'll end the conversation and try again another time. Or when someone has a pattern of changing plans last minute, simply say, we've had 3 last-minute changes this month. I need 24 hours notice for plans. If that's not possible, I'll make my own plans and catch you next time. How to say a clean no, full stop, is to breathe. Stay in your body and simply say, no thanks, that doesn't work for me. And nothing more. Or, I'm not available for that. And silence. Or, I'm choosing not to. Or, thanks for thinking of me. I'll pass. Now, delivery matters, so slow your speech slightly. Think 10% max slower than usual. This keeps your tone calm. And be aware of your posture. Keep your shoulders down, jaw soft, and feet grounded. And pace your speech by taking 1 breath between each line. Then, let silence do the rest of the work for you. When they push back, it's imperative that you hold the line, or you'll lose all credibility and it will only become more difficult to be taken seriously. Use the broken record technique. Simply repeat yourself. For example, I hear you. My boundary stands. And repeat the boundary you've already stated, word for word. Another option is the delay technique, whereby you say something like, I'll think about it and get back to you tomorrow. And if they try guilt tripping you, simply say, I love you, and I'm not available for that. If they attempt to gaslight you, say, we remember things differently. I'm still choosing X. Now, to get your reps in, pick 1 low-stakes situation per day to practice setting a clear and simple boundary. For example, that doesn't work for me. What does is, and fill in the blank. Practice builds calm confidence, so the big conversations will feel much easier when they happen. Remember, your clarity is kindness, and your boundaries are love in action, which leads us directly into trait number 6. identity leadership. How to enter every room as the woman you're becoming and watch the room recalibrate. Learn to lead with your new upgraded identity first. When you do, decisions, dynamics, and outcomes will fall in line. A client wrote a one-line identity cue: calm CEO, clear and decisive, and read it repeatedly before every meeting. Within a few weeks, her team started pre-solving issues because her presence set the tone. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, who am I becoming? Choose who you are going to be before you choose what you're going to do. In doing so, you stop negotiating with your old self, the people pleaser, overgiver, or under-earner, and install the self-image that matches your vision. Strategy and results follow identity, not the other way around. Why it matters, especially after 50, is this: tactics can't outperform an identity that won't hold the result. Doing identity work collapses self-doubt and speeds execution and results. We do this by consciously rewiring our self-concept, our identity, which is without question some of the most powerful and life-changing work you can do. Give yourself the gift. You deserve to step into your next level self. Next, protect your energy, because your energy protects your goals. But how do you do that? Well, when you put nervous system care first, consistency finally sticks and your best self becomes your default. One client made sleep, a breathwork practice, and daily walks non-negotiable for 30 days. She told me she woke up feeling rested for the first time in years, and her creativity came roaring back. As a result, emotional eating dropped. Decision fatigue disappeared, and she finally finished an important project she'd been procrastinating on for a full year, without stress, pushing, or unnecessary force. Give yourself the gift of a simple, loving, standard operating procedure that treats your body, your brain, and nervous system like the priceless assets they actually are. This is how you stop outsourcing your state to substances like caffeine, sugar, and mindless media, and instead start generating steady, clean power from within. Why this matters, especially after 50, is, to start, hormonal shifts equal a more sensitive stress response. While a regulated nervous system equals clear thinking, a better metabolism, and deeper, much more restful sleep. So, it's important to implement the kind of habits that honor your biology, give you more focus, charisma, and follow-through with less struggle. And it doesn't have to be hard or complicated. Start by making sleep a priority. Remove all devices from your bedroom, including television, phone, and computers, and aim for the same 8 to 9 hour window every night. Protect that window like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Have a wind-down ritual at night whereby you dim lights, stretch, soak in a salt bath, do breath work, and/or read a soul-nourishing book. Remember, what you expose your mind to during the first 15 minutes of waking and the last 15 minutes before sleeping literally programs your subconscious mind. So choose wisely what you expose yourself to during those crucial times of day. Then, in the morning, start with a protein-rich breakfast within 60 to 90 minutes of waking, and consider eliminating wheat, sugar, and caffeine. If you can't do that, I know caffeine can be a tough one for some, at least hydrate really well with clean, pure water before you have coffee. Christiane Northrup has an excellent book called Goddesses Never Age. When it comes to protecting your energy and living with vitality, I highly recommend it. Now that you know the 7 traits you must embody to thrive as a woman 50 plus, watch this next video to learn 5 easy identity shifts for instant confidence.